The essence of the music video is that it adds moving images to a pre-existing song, but you may never have considered the variety of ways that those images, and often the stories, relate to the song. In this video, we'd like to consider several ways in which the narrative of the visuals interacts with the music and lyrics in several music videos. The narrative implied by a music video's visual content can either support or seem at odds with the narrative suggested by the song's music and lyrics in ways that can have fascinating repercussions. Naturally, not all music videos contain a narrative visual element. For instance, some videos are just footage of the band performing, but those music videos that do present visual narratives each have the opportunity to present multiple narratives in multiple media, one in visuals, the other in lyrics and music. There are four basic ways that a narrative music video can be understood to relate to the corresponding song's lyrical narrative. In explicit narrative videos, the lyrics tell exactly the same story as the visuals. Taylor Swift's You Belong With Me, for example, accompanies this screenshot with the lyrics "She's cheer captain and I'm on the bleachers." In complementary narrative videos, the visuals complement the lyrics by telling either a more or less specific story. Katy Perry's Last Friday Night shows a very specific kind of 80s party, but the lyrics are generally just about partying. Sometimes music videos tell visual stories that, at least on the surface, seem unrelated to the lyrics. One such extra narrative is provided in The Weeknd's False Alarm, a song about a person who doesn't love him, accompanied by a first-person shooter adventure video. Finally, it's possible to have a video that apparently contradicts a song's lyrics, what we call conflicting narrative. Angus and Julia Stone's song Big Jet Plane is about the joys of traveling, but the video's protagonist wallows in her mundane life, suffering from wanderlust. Our first example, from this 1994 hit video by the Crash Test Dummies, demonstrates just how explicitly a video's visual narrative can track its lyrical narrative. As we watch the first verse, notice how the lyrics narrate the events happening on stage at the school play, accompanied by a standard E-flat major pop chord progression.
Once there was this kid who got into an accident and couldn't come to school, but when he finally came back, his hair had turned from black into bright white.
Because the lyrics and visuals tell exactly the same story, this video is an example of explicit narrative. For instance, we see, on stage, the kid with his white hair getting into a car accident. In addition to such straightforward parallelisms between the visuals and the lyrics, this video features some subtler parallelisms. For example, the song's pre-chorus introduces a shift in narrative perspective. Whereas the verse started with the classic Once Upon a Time narrative device, in the pre-chorus we start to hear the subject's viewpoint, beginning with the words "he said." This moment is accompanied in the music by a C-flat major chord that is outside the key of E-flat major. The melody not only shines a spotlight on the note G-flat, which is from outside the key, but also pits it against G natural, which is in the key. That is, the contrast of this chromatic music with the more straightforward harmonies heard in the verse underlines the shift in narrative perspective.
He said that it was from when the cars had smashed so hard.
What's more, this moment is also highlighted in the video's visuals, for at this point the camera slowly pans to emphasize that the music we've been hearing is actually diegetic, with the members of the band Crash Test Dummies acting as pit musicians. In short, both the music and the visuals parallel the lyrics in a direct fashion, both in ways that are obvious as well as some deeper ways. But what about when a video's lyrics and visuals seem to tell different stories? Imagine hearing these lyrics from Sia and David Guetta's 2011 hit Titanium without the video. Painting in broad strokes, we'd say that these lyrics are about resilience in the face of a verbally abusive person. This sense of resilience seems supported in the music. For instance, right at the words "I am titanium," we hear a section that's known in EDM music as the drop, the moment in which the 4 on the floor beat returns. In this drop section, there's a production technique called side chaining. Every time the kick drum hits, which could be read narratively as the verbally abusive person, the high frequencies are completely attenuated, but they bounce back immediately following each of these kick drum hits, which could be read as a resilient protagonist. Now, consider watching the following video with the sound off. A child comes to, dazed, amidst a scene of destruction at a school. He then flees home, where he sees the news and realizes that he's responsible for the destruction at school. The police follow him, but the boy avoids arrest by activating his newfound supernatural powers. Now, here's the kicker. This is the video for the lyrics we just looked at, Titanium. In retrospect, these visuals arguably call attention to the darker hints of aggression present in the lyrics that otherwise might have gone unnoticed. Even so, whereas the explicit narrative of the crash test dummies reinforces the narrative directly suggested by the music and lyrics, in this video, there's nothing in the music and lyrics that directly implies the video's visual story. As such, this video provides a new angle from which to view the lyrics and music that's different than the lyrics and music alone. As a result, we can say it presents an extra narrative.
Our third example, from Beyoncé's If I Were a Boy, illustrates how a visual narrative can complement the lyrical themes. At the start of this song, a woman narrator wonders what her life would be like if she were a man, engaging in heteronormative masculine activities. The video's visuals demonstrate some of these activities in ways not specified in the lyrics, such as the woman serving as a police officer. Conversely, some activities specified in the lyrics are not shown in the visuals, such as a reference to drinking beer with the guys. Nevertheless, throughout the video, the stories told in the visuals and lyrics clearly relate to and complement each other in an obvious fashion. As we watch the first verse, note how some of the lyrics are depicted on the screen, some are not, and some could go either way.
If I were a boy, even just for a day, I'd roll out of bed in the morning and throw on what I wanted and go drink beer with the guys and chase after girls. I kick it with who I wanted, and I never get confronted for it, 'cause they stick up for me.
The video undergoes a remarkable narrative shift after the bridge. The tone of the lyrics changes from musing to accusation, as the If I Were a Boy melody is now sung as But You're Just a Boy. This is paralleled in the visuals, which move from speculation to reality, as the man is now shown as the police officer and the woman in a domestic role. In the following clip, we've highlighted each shift to the second person in red.
But you're just a boy. You don't understand. And you don't understand. Oh, it feels to love a girl someday. You wish you were a better man. You don't listen to her. You don't care how it hurts until you lose the one you wanted, 'cause you're taking her for granted and everything you have got destroyed.
The music helps underline the binaries expressed in the visual and lyrical narratives. For instance, the verses are sung in Beyoncé's lower register,
If I were a boy,
but the choruses are sung up an octave in a much higher register.
if I were a boy.
The duality is further underlined through the harmonies, which are based on the so-called axis progression. Significantly, the progression wavers between major and minor. That is, metrically it emphasizes E-flat minor. while tonally it emphasizes G-flat major, thereby underlining the binaries in the narrative. In all, though the visuals of this video do not spell out the narrative of the lyrics in as literal a fashion as in the Crash Test Dummies video, they nonetheless tell a story that is congruent with what is told by the lyrics and the music. As such, this is classified as a complementary narrative. Our last example from Benny Blanco's East Side is one where the visual and lyrical narratives seem to actively oppose one another. The lyrics describe a romantic relationship that started in childhood. By the third stanza, the lyrics become more plaintive, with the narrator begging for reconciliation. At this point, the music is both sentimental and upbeat, arguably suggesting more optimism than pessimism.
Love is yours if you're willing to take it. Give me your heart, 'cause I ain't gonna break it. So come away, starting to date, start a new life together in a different place.
The visuals likewise start with the story of a love that developed in childhood. But in marked contrast to the lyrics and music, in the visuals the love does not intensify as time moves on. On the contrary, the love interest doesn't even remember much about her childhood sweetheart. Quite unlike what is presented in the lyrics and music, in the visuals there is no indication that Benny attempts to renew his relationship with the girl. In essence, the stories told by the visuals and the lyrics have outcomes that seem diametrically opposed to one another, and thereby present a contradictory narrative. In all of the videos examined here, the story told by the visuals plus the music and lyrics is different than what is evoked by the music and lyrics alone. As we've seen, the visuals may explicate the lyrics, complement them, seem extraneous to the lyrics, or seem to actively contradict them. In all cases, however, this interaction invites the viewer to consider the holistic implications of the ways in which the visuals influence our understanding of the music and lyrics, and vice versa.